you've seen Starfleet Academy episode 2. The series premieres January 15th, but you've got episode 2. Tell me what happens. Where do our characters go in episode 2?
Okay, so we're basically the start of the new semester. Chancellor Aki has a chance to address the entire academy, and she says, "Make your bed, show up on time," because that's what it means to be here in Starfleet. So she just assumes that kids are disciplined and will just do what she says, as opposed to feeling this need to be disciplined or learn discipline. But that's besides the point. After a couple of comedy sketches, we learn that during the burn, the planet of Beta Z, or the system of Beta Z, was abandoned by the Federation, left to fend for itself, and it almost ceased to exist because of raiders and marauders attacking them. And the only way that the Betazoids can protect themselves was to create a psionic or psychic wall to keep everybody out. And so now we're in the future. Starfleet Academy is created. And now's the time to open negotiations with the Betazoids, and they are brought on. And the leader, who happens to be deaf, fortunately has a communicator that will interpret all his sign language, which is great. And then he has two kids. One of them, you can see her, she's the one with the really high skirt. She begins to explore the academy. It kind of falls a bit for the Caleb character. But what Captain Elkie finds out is that she's somewhat of a youth activist on Beta Z. And her response is, "Ooh, I like student activism." Okay, and so now, basically the negotiations, let's just say, okay. Also, there's a little bit of romance going on between her and Caleb. Why? Because there's the obvious scene in which they meet for the first time and lock eyes on one another, and the camera lingers and lingers and lingers. Because why? We can't create it organically. We just got to do it. And because Caleb, he's got a checkered past, that kind of sets off the leader of Beta Z, who says, "Forget it. We're going back. We're putting our wall back up." And I don't want to give away the ending too much, but will Beta Z tear their wall down?
That's the second episode.
Yeah.
So it gets dumber, is what you're saying.
It gets so dumb.
Oh my god.
Oh.
I mean, it's one of those things. Would you watch this show? Look,
no.
I said, like, would you watch it? Because there are TV shows I would watch that I know this is dumb and weird and whatever, but I'm entertained. Is this evolving into that?
I mean, look, it's just, everything is so on the nose. And I'll go back to another tweet I posted. Look, we're going to criticize this stuff because it's objectively bad. It's not because it's diverse. It's not because a woman's running it. It's just the writing is horrible. Everything that it tries to be, this kind of woke DEI show is just blatant. And, we're calling it out because it just feels so disingenuous from Star Trek. Even Enterprise, even to me, Voyager, as much as I didn't like those shows, it felt like Star Trek. At least they tried and made attempts to keep it Star Trek. This one is not Star Trek in any way. And it just tells me that they don't care about the old audience. They don't care that the old audience isn't going to watch this stuff, because we have a whole new generation of Star Trek fans that will watch this. And what we're going to find out, like all the critics who are going to come after me for saying this, is that once the show comes out and you see how bad it is, no one's going to be watching it and no one's going to be criticizing it, because there's nothing to defend here.
So do you recommend it?
No, no, not even for children. My daughter, who is the right age for this, saw this poster and just said, It's no, no," because she, you know, I mean, for me to say you need to watch Star Trek because Star Trek has a lot of great things to say, and then I show her this, it just undermines any credibility I have about Star Trek.
Well,
Right.
what I miss is Star Trek being smart.
Mm-hmm. It's
Star
not.
Trek actually dealing with science, moral issues. The science in the show is so far beyond our own. There's no relation to it.
Right.
It's
It's magic.
it's
It's magic.
magic at this point. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Oh,
This is
yeah.
more connection to Harry Potter than
Oh, wait
Starfleet.
till when you see the second episode, Tig Notaro is one of the science teachers, and her first statement is how science almost killed her. The assumption is that, science, you can still question science. Science is not, you know, it's, it's everything you expect. It's okay. Let me reclaim my thoughts here. Um, it's woke, it's socialist, and it's gaslighting. And that's what this is. It's, you watch this thinking this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. And you're just gonna get gaslit for believing that. Oh, well, you're a racist, you're a misogynist, you don't think the future of this. Oh, we talk about you know, you would think that the weight problem would have been solved by this time, or people can, we solved deafness and blindness and all that stuff. And people are just gonna gaslight you saying, no, this was never Star Trek,
I
when
mean,
the reality is it was Star Trek.
Geordie LaForge, arguably one of the great Star Trek
Mhm,
characters, very memorable. Um, he was blind,
mhm.
and his name Geordie was a tribute to a disabled fan. Um, and they put the visor. They gave Geordie
Mm.
that visor to they kind of had a way for a blind person to see.
Yeah, but not
Uh,
only see, but
very
see things that normal people couldn't see.
correct. And there could have been something for deaf people. That seems like a problem. We're already talking about being able to save certain medical problems we weren't
Mhm.
able to before current day. So, I mean, it's utterly unimaginative in terms of science. And what I did love about Star Trek as a kid, I may not have understood all of it, but what didn't talk down to me. It
Mhm.
wasn't. I felt like I felt like I learned something or gained lessons when I watched it, but it wasn't being preached to. It was smart, and
Yeah.
this thing is talking down to kids. Where Star Trek, I think, original classic Star Trek appealed generationally, but
Mhm.
never was sort of pandering or talking down or lecturing in that way.
Yeah, I there was a comment on the last review video we did, basically saying, "Well, Star Trek inspired so many women and young people to get into STEM fields," and like the problem is people actually watched that Star Trek. People are not going to watch this. How can you inspire something if nobody watches your show?